Well, I have to say, God's been good to me. He's been good to me. I inherited a car that smells rancid, but at least it's my car. It's my own. There's something rancid. There's something rotten in Denmark. And I think it somehow spilt out of the recycling bag. Now, I ordinarily don't recycle old milk jugs or old orange juice containers because people don't rinse them out, and I surreptitiously throw them away when I see them in the recycling bin. But lately I've relaxed my attitude a little bit because I felt guilty about doing that, and I'm rewarded with a very rancid smell, and I know something dripped out of the recycling bag because my husband didn't take the recyclables for a couple of days and something oozed out of the bag. Well, but I do have a car now. Isn't that great? I only wanted an old car. That's all I ever knew was old cars. My parents never wanted to buy me a new car. Are you kidding me? I would be the last person they'd buy a new car for. Well, it's true. And I'm thinking, when my teenagers, especially my teenage daughters, begin to drive, I want them to have a newer car, not an old jalopy that might break down in the middle of nowhere. Because I value them as human beings. I want them to have a better life than I did. I want them to have a better start in life. I would drive an old car so they could drive a newer car. Now that's not very bourgeois, is it? Well, so I've been reading a kid's biography of Napoleon. I'm learning so much. Napoleon isn't really the autocrat everybody makes him out to be. You have to look at the circumstances. You really have to look at the circumstances surrounding his rise to power. He wasn't just a power-hungry person. He was desperate to be successful, and he was very skilled at leading people, and he was ambitious, but in the end, that wasn't enough to save him because he got a little bit overly ambitious. But those were very tumultuous times. The French Revolution, the way they guillotined people, they were so bloodthirsty. Napoleon was really pretty moderate, but he had to survive, and the directors placed him in a position of authority. And the English and the Spanish were against the communists. We'll call them communists. You call them revolutionaries. I call them communists. The English and the Spanish were the enemy. And Napoleon had no choice but to fight the English because the English were engaging him in battle. I'm sorry, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, and I don't feel quite as hostile toward Napoleon as I once did. I think he wasn't really a good Christian, but he wasn't the evil dictator people want to make him out to be. It's amazing when you actually get a hold of a little bit of unbiased figure or historical figure might change. That's what I'm challenging you to do over to the children's section of the library. If you still have a library in your town, I know it's closed on Thanksgiving, but when it's not closed, you need to go there and you need to start reading biographies written for children about historical figures, because these will not be lefty biographies, and they're not going to be, I'm sorry, and I am a conservative, but they're not going to be the conservative claptrap with the multitudinous grammatical and syntactical errors you encounter with the self-published folks. I mean, go to the children's section of the library. Really try to learn the facts. Don't try to learn the propaganda. So yes, I do have a poster of Columbus hanging in my room. There's a big controversy in my house because one of my teenagers said Columbus was a rapist, he was a murderer. The Spaniards were not nice people, and unfortunately Columbus he was closely associated with the Spaniards, but he himself, he was ambitious, not to exploit people. He was ambitious because he wanted to explore a new route to India. And that didn't happen. We ended up not being in India. We ended up being in the New World. Okay, India is fine as far as it goes, but the New World is better. That's what I know. And he didn't like how the Spaniards were. I mean, they were white trash. I'm sorry. The people that came over from Europe really did exploit the natives. And I am sorry about that, but why are you blaming Columbus? I like Columbus. And because Columbus Day often falls on my own birthday, he and I are like that. We're like brother and sister. And I did order this Columbus poster from a publisher in California that seems to be owned by Italian Americans, and they said, thank you for your order, and blah, 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 a little handwritten note, because I ordered it from Amazon. They didn't have to write me that nice little note, and I actually didn't find that for like a month and a half after, because one of my kids ripped open the package and they found the Columbus poster. They didn't rip up the Columbus poster, thank God, but they never showed me the note. I'm like, yes, I know, because when I saw the note, I'm like, I know, because they knocked down the statue in my town, and that's not right, because I don't think he deserves that, and I guess maybe Napoleon doesn't deserve the bad rap he got either, although he did overstep his bounds. And, well, that's my final word. Happy Thanksgiving. Goodbye.